Adventures of Superman, the Book of Kal-El, issue 5. Philip Kennedy Johnson writing with Scott Godlewski on the art. So this is the what do they call it again? The
Sun Eater.
No, well, yeah, the Sun Eater, the place that they're fighting for here, Lantern Home.
Oh, the Lantern Hold.
Yeah, Lantern Home.
Yeah, Lantern Home.
So they're having this big fight. The twins are both here, Ronan and Rowan. They're trying to save these constructs, and the whole thing is that Krillix had basically entrapped this Sun Eater in this armor that lets him control it, and he had him defend the Will of Olgren until it was time to come collect it. And now we're getting this big fight paying off, and there's some really fun stuff in here with this idea that people who are descendants of Superman like sometimes doubt that he was ever real, because like, are we really that important, or be really that special? Like, is it possible that someone that good could ever have existed? But like, it was a moment of like, you know, Rowan like willing to sacrifice herself to try and take out the Sun Eater, and it's this big kind of moment of like, oh, in this moment where she realizes she's willing to do this to save everyone, she realizes that Superman must exist, because this is like the Superman in her coming out kind of thing. Like, I was like, okay, I'm liking how big and epic that feels, and this idea of the lineage of Superman meaning something.
Well, I love that, and then just who they are differently and how they were a team, right? Her and her brother, they were the Flamebird and Nightwing of their time. So when she does this, when she makes that decision that this is what she's going to go do, she has this hug with her brother, and her brother goes, "I love you, Flamebird," and she goes, "I love you, Nightwing," and then she says truth and justice, and then like we're just hitting all the Kryptonian type stuff, and it feels good. Like, it does feel like this mythic type thing where they are getting wound up by the myth of Superman. When I say wound up, I mean like inspired, right? It's their reason for action, right? We got to live up to this type thing, and I love it.
And then Superman picks up a floating island construct and smashes it into the Sun Eater to break the armor. And then Krillix says, "You fool, you've just let that Sun Eater escape. Now it's like, you know, free to do whatever." And Superman actually gets teleported with the Sun Eater to some other part of space. But when they're left behind, they're like, oh, the Sun Eater took the ring that Rowan was using, the Darkstar ring. Like, she doesn't have that anymore. But because this was all, you know, her protecting these constructs, and these are all sort of Lantern-based things, and they're at Jordan's Crossing, as they call it as well at one point. Or Stuart, not Jordan's Crossing. Stuart's Crossing, not Jordan's Crossing.
Stuart's.
I'm not that Green Lantern, the other one that was actually involved in this stuff. Basically, like, there's like a body or like a statue holding like a Green Lantern ring, and it basically says, you know, you've just overcome great fear, and she effectively gets accepted to a new Lantern Corps, like a new version of the Green Lantern Corps. So we get a whole like her getting the green ring. So we get a big full page spread where she's got the Superman S, but she's glowing green. It's like a whole thing. It's like, oh, okay, this is kind of neat that we're tying this back into Green Lantern stuff.
It's really cool. Yeah, so, I love when the super characters end up with Green Lantern stuff. Like, there was a right after Infinite Crisis where Superman had lost his powers, Hal brings him a ring to try to, you know, like, maybe this will recharge you. And it's, you know, they try to make a construct of Superman, right? But Clark's able to, but he just makes him of Clark Kent because that's who he is. He's come to terms with. And it's something that's always stuck out to me. And here, her getting this, you know, she's the lantern in the dark, and she's got the S shield on, but she's covered in green. And I was like, it's a good image. Like, I love it.
Yeah, and then, you know, the end of the issue is like, you know, some like space pirates or whoever they are, you know, they're talking about seeing this thing appear in the distance, which is Superman and like all this stuff from the other place. And there's the thing there, either that or they're seeing the aftermath of the battle before they disappear. But either way, the reveal here is they've got like a prisoner, and it's one of the kids. It's Otho Ra, the girl, and she's like, "Oh, my father's coming. Like, I'm Star Child of the House of El. Like, you know, my father's coming to get me." So we've revealed one of the missing kids. So they're not together; they've been separated, and that's that. Like, yeah, I mean, you know, this is. You know, I said last time that like I'm enjoying this well enough when I'm reading it, and this issue in particular had some really cool big moments with all the fighting with the Sun Eater, and I love the Ronan stuff. But it's definitely not measuring up to like War World Saga or like even post War World Saga and like in Johnson's Action Comics for me.
Yeah, it's there, but it's not as concentrated. Like I felt like that him doing War World Saga, he had something to say about Superman and about his place in the world and all this other stuff. And here he's just like, you know what? I'm gonna do like a high fantasy book set in space with Superman.
Yeah, and it feels like there's so many like elements to it, like so many characters that are relatively new, so many like places that are relatively new, that I don't think it all has as much weight as like the stuff from before. No. Is how I'm feeling. So like it's still good, but it's definitely like you know,
it's fun to read. I like getting into here and seeing all these things and just the whole lore he builds around the Sun Eater. Like its name was Tula Ram, and it was worshipped by death cults because it was the end of everything. And then Krillix, you know, had imprisoned it in the armor of a Promethean giant. I was like, yeah, we're cooking with some of this stuff. You know,
yeah, and like even before that, it was abandoned.
Sci-fi fantasy.
Yeah, it was abandoned by all the other Sun Eaters. So when Krillix found it, it was on its own in a system just consuming what was left of the system kind of thing. Yeah, there's some cool stuff there. Like, there's definitely some fun moments in here that I like. I will say though, out of a lot of the books we read though, this is one that I do sometimes take a minute to remember what the hell was happening last issue, because like I started this and I'm like,
yeah, me too.
Like, what was going on last issue exactly? Because I like this one for whatever reason, this one's a bit more of a struggle than everything else.
Yeah, it always feels like there's been 3 months in between, and it's only been the typical, 4 weeks, because I gotta really kick it into high gear. But again, when I'm reading it, like, we get to the end here, and they're not Ravagers, but they're very much coded like the Ravagers from the Guardians movies. And they're talking about stuff with the new gods, right? It was Isaiah's belt, and it goes, oh, Isaiah's belt just dragged in another Sun Eater, and then they get talking about, they're charting for Seraphim. So we're getting all this new god language in here. I was like, oh, where are we going with this? Like, because we're far away. Like, are we near the source wall? Are we here? Because we're starting to get the aspects of Olgrin. Like, the whole back matter gets into all the different ones. And, it's just, I like that Johnson has a kind of free reign to tell the story, because it's set so far in the future and with all these new characters, and, they're his characters from more, like Ulthol and Osul. Like, Superman's the only one that's not at this point. So I'm just enjoying the ride, Yeah.
So yeah, what were you giving a Book of Kal-El issue 5?
I'm gonna say, I feel like 8's too much, but 7.5 is not enough. So I guess I'll leave it a little bit wanting more, and I'll go 7.5.
Yeah, I'm just going straight 7. Like, it's good. Like, I'm enjoying it more than JSA certainly, but I also don't think it's up there with the best of what Johnson's done on Superman by any stretch.